I'm doing these videos at a moment like this. It's easy for me to do the videos just before I'm going to sleep. Fury versus Usyk has been confirmed, from what I understand. April 25th is when the two will be fighting. I believe it's going to be in the UK, but yeah, we're just waiting to see whether this fight actually happens or not. I believe it will happen. Um, Initial thoughts is good. The first thing I thought was, can you imagine the two guys that people doubted that would become world champion, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, both on this channel, both interviewed when people really didn't care much about them, are now fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. So one of these two guys will create history. Alexander Usyk will move from cruiserweight to heavyweight and become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, beating Anthony Joshua, and then to beat Tyson Fury. Then he would go down, considering Tyson beat Klitschko and ended one era there, and then Wilder ended another era there. If Usyk was to come and beat him, that would be wow. That'd be awesome. It'd be amazing. It'd be incredible. If Fury were to beat Usyk, I mean, again, history books, undisputed. Some people will still question the validity of some of Tyson's wins over Wilder. We're not going to get into that. So when I said that, I'm just catering to those people that feel that way. So I'm just adding to that because I know some people will go, oh yeah, but Glovegate and Fury's been on this and that. And okay, I get it. I understand. I hear it. So, but if Fury were to win it again, it would be a great result as well for him. He would have beaten Klitschko. In fact, he would have beaten two Ukrainians, Klitschko and Usyk, and then beaten Deontay Wilder as well. Not bad for the old resume. Um, so initial thoughts, yeah, great fight. Um, I think the good thing about Alexander Usyk is that I'm going to be interested to see Tyson can't bully Usyk. He can stand in front of him and look at him, and Usyk will just look and go, really? And people say, oh, Usyk's too small. But was he too small when he fought Joe Joyce in the amateurs? Was he too small when he fought Anthony Joshua? People say, a good big man will beat a good little man. Well, okay, but a little man just went and beat up a big man twice, which was Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, who had two attempts when people said he would walk and smash him to bits. Well, that didn't happen, did it? There's some people that actually think that Tyson's going to walk Usyk down and knock Usyk out. Well, for those people that believe that, well, let's look at the fight with him and Steve Cunningham. That was the best, he still thinks the best boxer that he faced in his career. Out and out boxing skill, and you saw how much problems that Cunningham gave Fury, and Cunningham had just moved up to the heavyweight division. You've got a guy now in Usyk who will not be bullied by Fury, because I can't see him being bullied by Fury physically, being bullied by Fury. I do believe fully Fury would try and roughhouse Usyk, them tactics. It will be dangerous for Fury to go to the body of Usyk because he leaves himself open. Some of the things that people don't consider in this fight is footwork. Fury's a big man, and he's strong and he's fast against guys that come forward with very poor footwork. I mean, look at the guys who've got good footwork. He's fought. One guy who had great footwork would have been Vladimir Klitschko, but Vladimir Klitschko's got a great footwork, but his mindset is very weak. You're looking at someone like Usyk now, who's got a great mindset, very, very determined mindset, and he's guy's been at war. There's nothing that Tyson Fury is going to say or do that's going to intimidate this guy, is going to get into his mind. So he's fighting a guy who's got no fear, one, and two, a guy that believes he can beat him, and three, a guy who's got the technical skill to beat him. Being bigger doesn't make you better. It just makes you bigger. Now you're fighting a guy that is technically as skilled as you, a guy that's unbeaten like you, a guy that has no fear, a guy that is not intimidated, and a guy that's going to come to fight, and a guy that can match you intellectually and um, can match you in terms of competition. You gotta remember the way Usyk won the cruiserweight championship of the world. He fought some monstrous punches on the way, and he won everything. He went into people's backyards to become champion of the world. Okay, he went into other people's backyards to do it. And then when he fought Chisora, and he fought Chisora in a situation where the ring wasn't made to suit him. You remember, he was going to ring, and on the night he was going to ring walk, discovered the size of the ring that night. And I do believe if Usyk had understood that earlier, and that was poor management in his team's management, I think his strategy would have been different against Chisora that night. That being said, he beat Anthony Joshua twice, convincingly. As for Tyson Fury, the guys he's fought recent times, Wilder, again, all the guys that Fury's fought, and this is not disrespectful, since Klitschko, let's look at it in terms of skill. The last southpaw he fought that was skillful was Otto Wallin, and we saw what happened in that fight. And that was a big guy who hasn't got the skill set of Alexander Usyk. Okay, um, we saw what happened there. So I don't believe a Tyson size is going to trouble Usyk, not in the way that people are talking about it. I also don't think Tyson can be able to walk down Usyk the way people think he's going to walk down Usyk. And also, let's remember the same Tyson Fury who got knocked down by Steve Cunningham. Okay, this is a fight where Fury's going to have to concentrate for 36 minutes against a crafty operator who's not just going to stand there and let him hit him with right hands, right? So again, in terms of footwork and technical ability, disrespecting what we should call it is Derek Chisora. He was limited. He beat him for Chisora before. He beat up on him again, walking punch bag. And then we look at the Dillian White fight. Mine was not in the game that night. You could tell he wasn't in the fight that night. And a limited, again, kickboxer, limited boxing experience, but tough guy, big left hook, but limited. Again, now you look at then you look at Deontay Wilder, big puncher, but in terms of he's becoming a better boxer, but he's not noted for his boxing ability. He's noted by his one punch knockout power. To be honest, that's what Wilder's known for. The last guy, now you have Otto Wallin, who gave Fury fits. And then you had the Tom Schwartz fight, and then we had what's this guy again? Safari or whatever his name was, and then he had the Pianetta fight, and then before that we had the Klitschko fights, right? So then you look at Usyk. He's fought a variety of different type of guys. So he's fought guys. He's been in there with guys that have been physically stronger than him, naturally bigger punches than him. You know, so he's fought guys that he wasn't expected to win against. So going in for me, he's not going to be a guy that's going to be this guy hasn't got technical flaws um like how these other guys he's fought the Tyson Fury's fought recently. This is the things that come to my mind. Technically, you've got a guy who's technically brilliant here. And Fury does do things in fights, i.e., when he's getting hit, he rubs his nose and does. There's also idiosyncrasies that he's been able to get away with in his career because the guys have not been good enough to capitalize. That guy like Usyk will capitalize, and there's a lot of body to hit. Doesn't have to go to the chin; he just works the body. So it's a fight where Fury, I believe, if Fury gets hurt in this fight, I'm telling you what Fury's going to do now, what he's always done. He put his gloves up and walk forward and march down Usyk. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when he fights a guy who's faster than him, can beat him to the punch, and slip away and frustrate him. And as Fury tries to corner him, Usyk's able to get away. I do believe Fury will try and go to Usyk's body though. I believe that's where he'll try and lock Usyk with those shots there. You see, he's become a power puncher. Fury. He's not the Fury that fought Klitschko. That guy's gone. So this guy, Fury, we've got now, is very reliant, heavily reliant on his strength and punching power. Will that style help him against Usyk, who's busy, 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 busy? He'll be very, very busy. He'll be very busy. And I don't believe that Fury's as strong as uh, Joe Joyce. No way. He might have faster hands than Joe Joyce, but he's as durable as Joe Joyce. I don't know. Oh yeah, well if Wilder knocked him down, if Wilder can knock him down but couldn't knock him out, how's Usyk gonna do it? Well, see, Wilder has got that one right hand. I believe that guys that are shorter than Fury will cause him technical issues, and I've always said it. Now, how Usyk fights him will be very interesting, very very interesting. So yeah, um, I do want to remind people who are saying that Usyk's going to get trapped on ropes. Do you remember how Steve Cunningham got knocked out? It was illegal. Fury uses a forearm and lifted Cunningham's head up and then hit him with a right hand. He had to do that to stop Cunningham. That won't happen against Alexander Usyk because you have to catch Usyk into the corners. And for you to catch Usyk into the corners, you're going to run into something. It's not going to be as simple as that. It's not going to be as simple as that because we're taking away now. Fury's got to lug that body around the ring with him against a guy who's fast. So later on in the fight, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, will Fury be able to fight at the pace that he's been able to fight in in fights previously, where he's been able to fight at his pace and be in control? He won't be in control of the pace in this fight. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And yeah, I really don't believe so. But those are my thoughts so far. But let's hear what people are saying. I'm not saying that Fury will lose this fight now, but I'm saying I don't subscribe to some of the stuff that people are saying about Fury. Oh, we'll just walk him down and knock him out. No, that's just not going to happen. He couldn't knock out Derek Chisora, who White flattened. He had to forearm Cunningham and throw the right hand to knock him out. Oh, he's a better fighter now. Okay, but what about Otto Wally, who's not as fast as Usyk, who's not as talented, and a southpaw? He was still able to cut Fury and cause him problems. So let's say that cut opens up again on Fury early in a fight. Those things you look at as well. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting fight. That's why I say. Let me just see what the comments are saying now. Shut up and just listen to what people are saying here in the room. Okay, let's see. Initial thoughts. I'm happy. What would be a reasonable pay-per-view price? 19.99 is undisputed, isn't it? So 24.99 ain't bad for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, I would say. Let's see again. Can't see Usyk making himself available to take a lot of Fury's punches. So I don't think he'll walk him down though. I don't either. His feet have slowed down as well. Exactly. Usyk will win. Fury's knees will clash too much in that fight. Fury would not have beat Wilder without Dr. Usman. Interesting. Fury beats Wilder every single day of the week, mate. He's done it 3 times. Yeah, we spoke about that. No way Fury beats Usyk in a fair fight, especially the way he is now. Okay, if he thinks Usyk's gonna get trapped on ropes, he's mistaken. He's a rabbit. He's gonna be moving so quickly. Fury's eyes will be worn out. Why no camera, bro? Well, it's kind of like midnight. Here I am here, and I'm just ready to sleep. So it's better I do this than don't do a video at all. So yeah, especially while I'm still getting my room sorted. Let's see what it has there. Why did he have to resort to leaning the headlock, the behind the head shots, the elbows and the headbutts and all the rest of it? Let's be honest. Well, we got to look at things for what they are. Bob, I've had this argument a million times. He's superior to Wilder. He'll beat him any day. I'm not Wilder hate. I like his style. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some guys are kryptonite for other guys' styles. And Fury technically is a better technical boxer than Wilder. That's what it is. Simple it is. That's what it is. Who was the last undisputed heavyweight champion in the world? Lennox Lewis. That was the last undisputed heavyweight champion in the world. Ingram, did you see the news that Wilder got offered 500,000 guaranteed purse for what for Rue's fight? He said he wants to leave PBC. Don't blame him. Um, so it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Do they really want Wilder fighting Ruiz? Do they really want that? I don't know. I don't know. It's one way to stop Wilder fighting Ruiz, isn't it? John O'Sullivan. John O'Sullivan. You're a funny man, Bob wants, as long as you're a funny man. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. Oh, let me add something in the box here. Was John O'Sullivan an all-time great? I think some would say John O'Sullivan was an all-time great. Some would say Rocky Marciano was an all-time great. God, but you know, you know, depending who you talk to, some people tell you, some people tell you Rocky Marciano was one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. A lot of people tell you Rocky Marciano fought a lot of bums and he had the mafia on his side. That's who you talk to. If you talk to Larry Holmes, he'll tell you that Rocky Marciano was a bum and he would have knocked out Marciano. Of course, Marciano's brother wasn't too impressed with that. And it is on YouTube somewhere. It's funny. Marciano's brother was talking about Larry Holmes disrespecting the Marciano name. Yeah, well, so it depends who you talk to. Rocky Marciano's undefeated. Yeah, well, so was it Baby Messi? Wasn't he undefeated as well? Because somebody's undefeated doesn't mean it make him the greatest of all time. I'm not sure if that I don't know if somebody who's undefeated makes them the greatest of all time. I'm sorry. Ali Ali was the greatest of all time as a heavyweight, and he was beaten a few times. So I don't know. Sonny Liston, he was cool. Would Marciano have been Liston? Don't think so. I don't think Marciano could have beaten George Foreman. In fact, no chance. Bloody hell, Marciano. Anyway, let's stop talking about Marciano. Was Larry Holmes good? He was great. He was great. The problem with Larry Holmes is he was around Ali's time, or Ali come to the end of Ali's career, and he went and fought Ali, and Ali was finished, done. Ali could just about put his hands up, and he was in that had Parkinson's disease, and Ali was nowhere near the guy. So a lot of people hated Holmes because he beat up on Ali. Yeah, and Holmes was Ali's sparring partner back in the day. So yeah, Holmes great left jab, known the something assassin, the Eastern assassin, Larry Holmes, great fighter. Marcel versus Jack Johnson. Who wins? Jack Johnson. A great match. Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson. If the two were to fight without no mafia involved, Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson may lay down if the mafia are involved. But yeah, Larry Holmes, great fighter. Coming back to this fight, Usyk versus Fury. I don't know. I don't know where the energy is going to come for this fight. Yeah, we're hungry for an undisputed fight, but where's the energy for this fight? Like, Fury will have to sell the fight because Usyk, I feels. I feels. I mean, Fury's going to have to sell the fight by himself. Even though people want to see undisputed, I can't imagine a press conference as being. I mean, I know Usyk will do his thing, okay, pull a funny face or just not getting. I just can't see how this fight sells like that way. It sells because it's undisputed. I don't think it sells because of the two guys fighting for it. Do you understand? If Joshua and Fury are fighting for the heavyweight championship, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, that sells. If Fury versus Wilder fighting for the heavyweight championship, that sells. But Usyk versus Fury for the heavyweight championship of the world, it just doesn't sell the same way. Fury's got a loud mouth and he'll sell it, but is Usyk going to sell it? I don't know. I don't think so. We want undisputed, but it would have been more energy if AJ won it. I am Phil. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure they would have to sell, to be honest. Usyk beat Joshua. He's known over here. And it's not about. It's not about. We're not talking about CVs and resumes. That's not. That's not the selling point here. It's when you talk about like a press conference now, because press conferences do the selling point for you. Yeah. Unless Tyson Fury picks up a table or he shoves Usyk, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to go down the lines of doing that. I would not advise Tyson Fury. If I'm Tyson, if you're listening, I would not advise you to go down the antics of pushing Alexander Usyk. Don't do it. If don't do it. If you want to make the fight harder for yourself, don't do it. Do not engage in pushing Alexander Usyk. I know this man. Do not push Alexander Usyk. If you want to see his nasty side, go push him. Go do that. Go do that. If there's more energy for Fury versus Usyk or Fury versus AJ with no belts for AJ, but isn't. I mean, after the thing was when Fury was saying he wanted to fight AJ after he got beat by Usyk, I was like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you fighting AJ? AJ just got beat up twice by a pumped up light heavyweight. That's what you call him. Why the hell are you rushing up to fight AJ to do what? What does that achieve? So, Jack Johnson versus AJ, who wins that match? Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If Jack Johnson comes out throwing punches, I know Jack Johnson comes out throwing punches at AJ. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. With mythical matchups, anything can happen. You can say whatever you want to say in mythical matchups. 120 years apart in careers. Yeah, but I don't think AJ could live in that era. No, I don't think he could live in that era. Swap Jack Johnson for 2020. Yeah, you put Jack Johnson in 2020 and you take AJ back to them days. Jesus. I love mythical matchups, but that right there is career suicide for AJ. Imagine AJ fighting back then. Yeah, I'm a throwback fighter, but I'm not going 15 rounds. I can't go 15 rounds. 1899 Anthony Joshua, and I don't see it happening. Mind you, to be fair, he had a physique on him and a half, so I mean that'd be quite intimidating and stuff. The women would love him. I don't know. Maybe AJ would have done well back then. I don't know though. I don't know. Maybe some historian can tell me. Stay humble in 1800s, really. Yeah, right. The shit that Jack Johnson had to go through. Could AJ go through that? Anyway, how do we get to Jack Johnson anyway? Back to we're talking about Fury and Usyk. Yeah, I'm not going to be racing home to see that press conference. It's one of them press conferences that'll be. Fury's going to have to do something stupid in that press conference to sell that fight. To be honest, I know it's undisputed, but still, that's in England. It's probably be at Wembley. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. You people think about it. But unless Fury goes off on that press conference, as they say, if he goes off on one. But there's one interesting thing Wilder said in terms of Usyk and Fury. Asked who win the fight. He says it depends on who's going to cheat more. So Wilder's actually saying that he believes that Usyk's cheating. I wonder what Uncle Bashir would think of Usyk cheating. Really interesting one. A 6'6" giant in those days, yeah. Yeah, the fight's made, it's been confirmed, I understand. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Was Jack Johnson loved or hated by the public? Jack Johnson was hated by the racist, the white community. He was hated for the most part. The white women loved him. The white men hated him, but he became the first colored heavyweight champion of the world. That's what they called him back then. Yeah, um, yeah, there's a lot of stuff back then. Very ugly back then. But yeah, you got to rate Jack Johnson for what he did back then. That's what I'm saying. He was very. He went for a lot of shit. So I guess he was loved in some parts, but hated in other parts. Probably hated by the narrow-minded people and loved by those people who saw what he did and achieved and gave him kudos for it. And the women, obviously, that was around probably loved him as well. Well, that's cool. Your knowledge is amazing. Well, I don't know the real back end of Jack Johnson really, but I do know he was the first coloured heavyweight champion. I also know, well, there's somebody will tell me I'm lying maybe, but yeah, and I know that he didn't have it easy, and people were pretty they didn't like the fact that Jack Johnson was coloured heavyweight. Yeah, I hope some white people gave him props. I'm sure maybe some did give him props, but I don't know the ins and outs. But I definitely know he was hated for it back then. So, and not much has changed in some ways. But yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate you all. Much love. Do check out Jack Johnson on YouTube. I'm sure they'll give you documentaries on it. And there's some great YouTubers out there that do some historical things. Blood Boxing is one of them I know. Shout out to Blood Boxing. Does a lot of these historical fighters, goes back in time and does documentaries on them as well. So check out Jack Johnson, and Blood Boxing is very good for that. So much love to you all. God bless you, and look forward to Fury versus Usyk.